Have you ever looked at someone in charge, a boss, a manager, a leader, and had that quiet little thought in the back of your mind? How? How did they get that job? You know exactly who I'm talking about. The person who seems to glide through life on a cloud of confidence, while you, the one who actually knows what's going on, feels completely invisible. It creates this knot in your stomach, right? This feeling that the world is upside down. Why aren't the best people leading? Why does it feel like the game is rigged in favor of those who don't deserve the trust or the title? My name is Andrew Meet Rich, and I know that feeling intimately. For years, I was the guy with his head down, working twice as hard, thinking my results would speak for themselves. I was broke, stressed, and honestly ashamed to even look at my bank balance. I made every money mistake in the book because I believed the world was a meritocracy. I believed that being the smartest or the most honest was enough. I was wrong. I had to learn the unspoken rules of power, influence, and money the hard way, but I figured it out. And now I want to help you do the same. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on why the world often rewards the wrong people. We're going to talk about the psychology of power, and I promise you, what you learn will change how you see your career, your finances, and maybe even yourself. So even if today's topic doesn't feel super relevant, stick with me. The next one could change your life. Do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get into it. I remember this one manager I had. Let's call him Gary. Gary was a master of the universe. He walked into every room like he owned it. He used all the right buzzwords. He was charismatic. He was convincing. The only problem? Gary didn't know a single thing about the work we were actually doing. He was an empty suit, but man, it was a beautifully tailored suit. Meanwhile, I was in the trenches. I knew the product inside and out. I worked late, I solved the hard problems, and I genuinely cared. When a big promotion came up, I thought it was a slam dunk. My performance reviews were stellar. My results were undeniable. But who do you think got the job? Gary. I was devastated. It felt like a personal failure. My first thought was, I'm not good enough. My second thought was, the system is corrupt. But both of those were wrong. The truth was, Gary and I weren't even playing the same sport. I was playing chess, carefully thinking through every move. Gary was playing poker. He didn't have the best hand, but he had the best bluff. He wasn't selling competence, he was selling certainty, and in a world filled with anxiety and confusion, certainty is a drug. It was a brutal lesson, but it was the breakthrough I needed. I realized that my intelligence and my work ethic were useless until I learned how to package them. And here's where most people get stuck, believing that just working harder is the answer. It's not. So why do we fall for the Garys of the world? It's not because we're stupid, it's because our brains are fundamentally lazy, not in a bad way. They're designed to be efficient. They evolved for a world that required quick, simple decisions. Is that a predator or a friend? Do I run or do I fight? Our brains are wired to look for shortcuts, and the biggest shortcut of all is confidence. Here's the insight that will reframe everything for you. Your brain mistakes confidence for competence. When someone speaks with absolute certainty, without hesitation, a primitive part of our mind lights up and says, that person knows. That person is safe. Follow them. A person who is thoughtful, who sees the nuance, who says, well, there are a few possibilities, sounds uncertain, and uncertainty feels like a threat. So we naturally gravitate toward the loud, simple, confident voice, even if it's completely wrong. This isn't a flaw in the system. It's a feature of our own psychology. It's the ostrich effect. We'd rather bury our head in a simple lie than face a complex truth. So here is your first simple action step. This week, I want you to find one, just one, low-stakes situation, a meeting at work, a conversation with a friend, and state your opinion directly. No, I think. No, maybe we could. No, this might be a stupid idea, but just say, the best way to do this is X. Or, my position on this is Y. Don't be aggressive, just be clear. Feel how different that is. You are not faking it, you are practicing the language of leadership. But this leads to an even bigger, more frustrating problem. What if you're actually the smartest person in the room? What happens when your greatest strength becomes your greatest weakness? Here's the rehook. Your high-level thinking might be holding you back. This sounds crazy, I know, but think about it. Because you're smart, you see all the angles. You understand the risks. You know that every decision has a chain of consequences. When you speak, you want to be honest and precise, so you include all those nuances and disclaimers. But what does the other person hear? They hear hesitation. They hear complexity. They hear, this person isn't sure. and their brain checks out. The person who stands up and says, "It's simple, we just need to do this one thing," wins the room. Their solution might be terrible, it might be a complete fantasy, but it's simple. It provides psychological relief. This is why populists win elections and charismatic founders with broken business models raise billions of dollars. They aren't selling a plan, they're selling a feeling, the feeling of certainty. In a world drowning in information, clarity is power. So here's your next action step. I call it the headline first rule. Before you dive into your brilliant, detailed explanation, I want you to lead with a single, clear, powerful headline. Think like a journalist. If you had to summarize your entire point in one sentence, what would it be? Start with that. The core problem is our marketing strategy. My solution will increase our profit by 10%. Lead with the conclusion. If people want the details, they'll ask. You'll instantly sound more decisive and in control. Okay, so the overconfident amateur gets the promotion. We've seen how that happens. But the story doesn't end there. The real damage starts now. And here's the re-hook that should scare you. Mediocrity is a virus, and it spreads from the top down. A leader who knows deep down that they are incompetent is terrified of one thing: being exposed. So what do? They don't hire the best and the brightest. They don't surround themselves with A players who could challenge them and make the organization stronger. They hire B players. People who are just a little less smart, a little less threatening. And what do those B players do? They hire C players. Soon, the entire organization is a swamp of mediocrity. It becomes a culture where loyalty is valued more than competence, where asking a tough question is seen as an act of betrayal. It's a closed loop, an echo chamber where everyone is afraid of the truth. These leaders aren't building a company, they're building a fortress to protect their own ego. They create a culture where people are too afraid to bring up problems, so problems fester until they become catastrophes. This is why you feel like you're going crazy at work sometimes. You're not. You're just a sane person in an insane system. Your simple action step here is about protecting your own growth. I want you to audit your inner circle. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they pushing you to be better, or are they just telling you what you want to hear? This week, your mission is to have one conversation with someone who you know will challenge your thinking. Growth doesn't happen in an echo chamber. It happens in the arena, with a little bit of friction. So we've walked through the darkness. We've seen that the system often rewards the loud over the wise, the simple over the true, the ruthless over the moral. It's easy to hear all this and just feel hopeless, like the game is rigged and there's no point in even trying. But that's not the takeaway. Knowing the rules of the game isn't a reason to give up. It's the first step to winning. You don't have to become a soulless manipulator to succeed. You just have to understand the psychology at play. You can learn to speak with confidence without losing your soul. You can learn to simplify your message without sacrificing the truth. You can choose to build your own table instead of fighting for a seat at a broken one. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for someone to finally recognize your hard work. The change starts with you, today. It's not about a massive, life-altering transformation. It's about one small shift, practicing one confident phrase, leading with one clear headline, having one challenging conversation. These are the tiny hinges that swing open massive doors. You have more power than you think, but you have to learn how to unlock it. And once you master your own psychology, the next step is to build a life where you are immune to these games forever. A life where your income isn't tied to a boss's ego. In our next video, we're going to talk about exactly that. How to start buying your own freedom $1 at a time. You've got this. Now go make it happen.